Okay, do you guys all have your seats?
Yes.
All right, are we ready?
Yes.
You all excited?
Yes.
Pre-vet students, possibly?
Yes.
All right. Well, I am very excited. We're going to introduce you today to Dr. Rayfidge. Say hi, Dr. Rayfidge.
Hi, Dr. Rayfidge.
Hi, guys. Hello.
He's super nice. He's not like a regular doctor. He's a cool doctor. So he's got some cool things he's going to tell you guys about education, things that you guys can be doing now, because there are things you can be doing now. And he's going to tell you about his journey as a veterinarian. And then we're going to have some fun. We're going to play vet at the end. We'll see what you guys think of that. All right, I'm going to turn it over.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Hello.
This is fantastic. How many of you guys have pets at home? Nice. Okay. All right. And how many have dogs?
I used to have a dog.
You used to have a dog. You used to have 6 dogs.
She has a dog.
Animal lover. That's great. And how many have cats? Okay. You used to have 2 cats. Great. And you guys have like lizards?
I used to have a chameleon.
You used to have a chameleon? You're a dragon? Do you guys have any weird pets at home? A what? A bird? Nice. Well, clearly animal lovers here. Okay. Well, so I'm Shadia Rayfidge. I'm a veterinary surgeon. I specialize in surgery. And so if you didn't know, actually as a veterinarian, you can specialize, and we'll go through that in more detail in a little bit. I want to kind of go through this outline with you today and give you some more insight on what it's like to be a veterinarian. So we'll first start with why do you want to become a vet? All right, that's a big question. Next is how do you become a veterinarian? And then what can you do right now to start the process of being a doctor for animals? And then we'll talk about different career paths that you can follow as a veterinarian. We'll kind of visit my own path, how I got here today. And then we'll go to the day-to-day life, and then we'll work on some really cool cases. We'll play a vet. So there's different reasons why you'd want to become a veterinarian. I think a lot of you do it for the love of animals, it seems, right? Yeah. And so, of course, you can't really have the animals taken care of without the people being involved. So veterinary medicine in general, you're going to be working with a lot of folks. You're either going to be the people who own the pets, just like you guys, people who are taking care of the zoos, or the wildlife. You've got folks that are working with pharmaceutical companies, or making the dog food diets and the cat food diets. So these things are important. So it's not always only about the animals, you'll be working with people as well. And of course, just like in school, right, when you get a job, you're working with colleagues. So other people, veterinarians, veterinary technicians, the receptionists. So there's a lot of people involved. Or maybe you want to be a veterinarian for the career. It's a fantastic career, it's fulfilling. You're saving lives every day. You're making a difference in everyone's lives. You're helping people. A lot of folks. Some folks live alone. If you have like a grandmother and all she has is a dog, and you fix that dog, you make it better. Well, you made her world. So there's different reasons to become a veterinarian, and it's not just all about the animals, although that's a huge part of it. So when you go into what it requires for the education involved, right? It's a lot of schools. And I think a lot of people have the idea like, oh, if you want to be a doctor, you're going to school for 7 years. That's pretty true. You start off with college, So what you do right now is going to impact where you go in the future. You want to get into a good school, get good grades. And so the grade point average is what your average is, your grade. If you're getting an A or a B. So you want to work really hard at school and get those grades because going into vet school is a limited number of seats. You want to be competitive, right? You've got veterinary experience. So when you get older and you get to like working age, you can decide what you want to do as far as veterinary experience goes. A lot of vet schools, they want to see you have some involvement with animals beyond just owning them as pets. Have you worked in a hospital before? Have you worked in a farm before? Have you worked in a zoo? Have you taken care of wildlife? And so those are the kind of things that you'll want to have on your record when you start to think about vet school. You want to go that route. And then we have examinations, similar to like SATs. Final exams. You'll have exams to try and get into vet school as well. Who you meet in your life too, letters of recommendations. You're going to meet lots of professors, right? You have teachers right now, and they're taking great care of you, teaching you lots of things. So when you get to the level of college, You're gonna have professors. You're gonna want them to write you letters of recommendation to say why do I deserve to go into vet school or medical school, whatever it is you're pursuing. So all these things come into play. And I'll tell you a funny story about me meeting the dean of my school. I went to Cornell University, so New York State. That's the vet school I went to. And so I met the dean there. I didn't get in the first time to vet school, and I went to apply a second time. And I talked to the dean. The dean is the one that runs the school, right? And so I said, what can I do to get in? What else can I do? And he opened up my file. He looks. He goes, you look pretty good here, but your GRE scores, your test scores are too low. I already took them twice. He's like, take them the third time and email me. Tell me what you get. So I said, all right, fine. So I took it a third time reluctantly. I did the best I could ever do, like the highest grade I can get, And I emailed him with the scores of the GRE, and he wrote back to me and he said, I can't promise you anything, but I strongly encourage you to reapply. I said, that's a good sign. I reapplied and I got in. I got into school. So you never know when things like this are going to help you out. So you do whatever you can, talk to people and try the best to make yourself as strong as possible on paper. And then of course if you don't get in, try again. I got in my second time trying. Some people it takes 3 times to get into vet school. So it just depends on how bad you want it, but keep working towards the goal. There's a lot involved with it. So what can you do right now? Learn everything. Learn everything. Be a sponge. Soak it all in. Doesn't matter if you have a subject matter that's of interest to you or that is maybe not so much fun. Learn it all, man. I'm telling you, when you get into college, and they're going to want to see that you're well-rounded, that you pretty much have a handle on everything, whether it's history or science, math, English, whatever it is. Learn everything, especially focusing, of course, on biology and math. As a doctor, those are the 2 big things that you're going to want to learn about right now. And hopefully you have a strong handle on these things. Maybe don't worry. It doesn't mean you're not meant to be a veterinarian. Just work hard at it. See what you can do. Team building and communication. I cannot emphasize this enough. When you're in a classroom like this amongst your peers, you're trying to build relationships, this is huge for school and for work. Being able to communicate with people effectively, knowing how to work with different types of people, everybody has a different point of view, right? So that's big. When I look into hiring doctors and training doctors myself, I look for these things more than anything else. So how they interact in a team is huge. When you go into later on in life, when you start working and getting that veterinary experience, you'll be looking at either volunteering positions or acquire an actual job. That's something for later on to talk about when you get in a little bit more deep into this. And then there's a book that actually you guys can look into, VMSAR book. Your parents can get it for you online, and you can review that. That's got all the requirements for veterinary school. So when you get into actual college and you're trying to figure out, where do I stand? How am I doing? My scores, how am I? My grades, my letters of recommendation, how many hours of veterinary experience I have. Books like this can help you. And now with online being so accessible, you can look all these things up and figure out where you stand. And that way you can improve on what you have with grades and what kind of experience you need. Does that all make sense so far? Yeah? Still want to be veterinarians?
A good note to just to piggyback on it with the volunteering.
Yeah.
So on the slide a couple previous, there was a girl on that slide who was working with a hippo. She actually started at our hospital as a volunteer. Then she got into undergraduate, and now she is in vet school. And so she goes every summer. The last 2 summers she goes to Africa, and she gets to help do a lot of the treatments on those kinds of patients. She has all different kinds of animals that she's worked on. But she originally started as a volunteer. So that is a huge thing that you guys can do. Even as teenagers, you can start in animal hospitals. Local animal hospitals here, I'm sure, have programs like that, just like we do. So that's a really fun thing where you see directly applicable.
Isn't that wild? And so that brings us right into what you can do with a veterinarian, because you can do lots of different things. So I work in clinical practice. I'm in private practice. I work for a hospital, and I'm part owner of the hospital. So I take care of dogs and cats every day. But there's many other things you can do. Working with zoo animals. Maybe that's where your passion lies. Maybe you want to work with zebras and tigers and rhinos. Maybe you want to be in a helicopter with a tranquilizer gun, and so you can do dental cleaning, get their teeth cleaned, on a giraffe. You can do these things. Maybe you want to work with animals, but more in the research setting. Maybe you want to work about finding the newest treatments right? Cure for cancer. You're trying to figure out how to solve diabetes. So it depends. There's lots of different things you can do. Food medicine, farming, right? Try to minimize animal cruelty, trying to help the animals because they're taking care of us with food. You know, these are all different positions that you can get into as a veterinarian. And you don't have to decide that until later on. When you become a veterinarian, you can decide what direction you want to take. When you go into veterinary school, you're going to meet lots of different people. And so they're going to have all different career paths and different ideas. So it's exciting stuff. I'll tell you a little bit about me, about where I came from. I was born in New York, and I went to college in SUNY Binghamton. It's a public school. Went from SUNY Binghamton, got into Cornell University for veterinary school. There's about 30-something schools in the US. There's a handful around the world you can go to. So don't forget, when you try to apply, you can also apply to schools outside of the United States as well. They're all different options for you. I went to Cornell, then I stayed in New York for about 9 years, 9.5 years. That's where I got my surgery training. So now all I do is surgery every day. I went from there, I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada. Has anybody been in Las Vegas before? Yeah. It gets hot there, right? We're there in the summer. Yeah. So I lived there for almost a year. And then from Las Vegas, I moved to Silicon Valley. How many have heard of Silicon Valley? Yeah, that's where like Netflix is and Google, right? So I worked there for about a year, and I ran the surgery department there. I moved up, I got promoted, and then from there I moved down here, True Care for Pets, and now I run the specialty side. I run the whole half of the hospital, right? And I have a whole team behind me of doctors, nurses, receptionists, yeah. And so we're always hiring new doctors and new staff. And so now not only do I do surgery, but I get to work for a fantastic facility, awesome hospital, and we're doing great things. And I've been here for about 6 weeks, doing surgery and trying to run the hospital. So it's pretty cool. I'll give you a taste of our day. This is our first surgery we did here, all right, as a surgery department, this hospital, True Care for Pets. So that's us doing a pelvic fracture. This is Sam, our technician. This is Lindsay. She scrubbed in with me, and we're doing a fracture. So we start off the day, 7:30 in the morning. Come in, talk to the nurses, talk to the doctors from the overnight, figure out how the pets were doing from the overnight, right? Make sure they're doing okay, make sure they're eating, they're comfortable. Then right away, 8 a.m., clinics. People start coming in with their sick animals. Some might have a broken leg. Some might be vomiting because they ate something they shouldn't have eaten. So we'll take care of folks and their pets all morning long. Every 30 minutes, every hour, take care of a new animal, get a new story, learn about their lives. From there we start surgeries. 11 a.m. start surgeries. And you could do, we may go ahead and do a bone surgery. We might go right from there to do a neurologic surgery. We might do a soft tissue surgery. We might be removing a sock from a dog that they ate. Or we might be trying to make a paralyzed dog walk again. All different types. As a veterinarian, you learn to be versatile, right? So if you start working with wildlife, you might be going from a penguin to a tiger, to a bear, to an ostrich, right? Sometimes we'll see ferrets and rabbits. It just depends. Depends how the day goes. So you do your best to take care of them. Then the entire day is based on taking care of your clients, all the pet owners. So I talk to my clients every day. I have veterinarians ask me for advice. They call me, I'm a specialist. They'll say, hey, what do I do with this dog? I don't know what to do. I think they have to come see you. Sure, we'll take care of them. Yeah, we can do it. So we'll answer client phone calls, veterinary phone calls. We'll respond to emails all day long. Now with social media and with emails and the internet, we're constantly plugged in. Clients, pet owners, they're concerned, their pet's not doing well at home, or they have questions. They'll email, they'll call in, they'll write on my Instagram, on Facebook, and they'll say, Doc, what do we do? And so we'll help them out. And I have a whole team that helps me out with this. It's a large undertaking, but it's fun. It's fun, you help them out. We'll have meetings, we'll visit veterinary hospitals, and promote our hospital, tell them about what we do. And we do some pretty cool things at True Care. We have CAT scan, we're gonna have MRI, we have x-rays. We're doing some nice stuff, state of the art. At the end of the day, about 6 p.m., I talk to the overnight staff. So you have a day staff that works during the daytime, and then an overnight staff at night. They literally work all night long, and they sleep during the day, because animals need 24-hour care. And so we have a dedicated team of emergency doctors, emergency nurses that are there at night to take care of the pets. Isn't that wild? Did you guys know we had 24-hour care in veterinary medicine? Yeah. So some do, some don't. Yeah. Sometimes you don't know it until your own pet gets sick. And then you find out, wow, I had no idea that this is all available to us. Then, as a chief of specialty, because I own part of the hospital and I run a whole specialty hospital, I have lots of after-hours work that I do. I work on social media. I do postings on there, show cool videos of surgeries. I show x-rays. I work on protocols of the hospital, so the whole team's on the same page. Remember we were talking before about team building and communication? So I try to make it where we have general guidelines, so everybody kind of is on the same page. We all know what we're doing, what our goals are. I'm also on call for emergency surgeries. So if something happens to your pet in the middle of the night, we're open. And the doctors call me in, I do emergency surgery with my team. And that's 24/7. Holidays, doesn't matter. You guys get breaks for school, right? You go on vacations and you hang out at home. So that's when we work. If anything happens, we're there to help your pets out. Yeah. So we have a full day, and this is every day. So, want to play being a veterinarian? Yeah? All right, so the hand's up already. So let me tell you what this is first. Who knows what image this is? What is this test called? Yeah. Go for it. Close.
A cat.
It's a cat. Yes. And I'll tell you, so cats, just so you know, their backbone, see the spine here? See that? It's a little bit longer than dogs. See this hind leg here? How long and straight it is? Cats have longer and straighter bones than dogs do in their thigh. So it's a cat. This is an x-ray. Has anyone ever seen an x-ray before? Yeah. So we use this all the time. X-rays give you a non-invasive way of looking in the body. We can actually look in the body and see, and over time, this may look like smudge to you right now, but as you learn more, you'll start seeing, oh, this is the chest, lungs. What is that? Heart, right? You have all this stuff in the belly. What does this look like? Intestines. See? And that's what you're doing. You're trying to figure out what's normally what a cat looks like. So, is there something wrong with this cat? Did something happen? Yeah. Okay, go for it, guys.
Me?
Sure, both of you. Jump in.
It's like this little it looks like a snake.
Right
it's
here?
a little bit green.
Here?
No,
Back here?
yeah.
All this here?
Yeah.
He's got poop in his intestines.
Yeah.
He's got poop in there.
Oh.
That's normal. That's normal, right? Anyone have an idea of what's wrong? Anything? What doesn't belong in this x-ray? Go for it.
There's like a white line right next to
Right here?
no.
Here?
A little bit off.
There?
Yeah.
This? What is that?
Tell them how an x-ray works.
So x-rays are great for showing bone and metal and mineral. It'll pick up those things. That's why the bone looks so bright here, but the lungs full of air look black. So what is that? What does that mean? What kind of material is this? Is this bone?
Metal.
It's metal. It's metal. What metal object looks like that? A needle. A needle. The cat ate a sewing needle. Uh-huh. And this is why we're on call 24 hours a day, because these things can happen, right? So what do you do? Surgery. Let's take a look. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. Put them down the throat. Oh.
Somebody pull the scope out.
Pull it out.
Yep. Keeping that tightly closed.
Okay.
So you guys able to see it?
Oh my God.
Resistance here. First grab, guys.
Yay!
Open.
The needle's out.
Pull this out.
So that's when you guys do your Halloween costume and you leave the needle and the thread on the table and then your cat comes and grabs it. That's what ends up looking like.
Isn't that wild?
Right?
How do they not like gag or choke?
They're amazing. So they have their esophagus, what attaches your mouth to your stomach, is very thick in animals. And they'll swallow these crazy things and somehow fit it through and not cause any problems on the way down.
Yeah, my
So how does that cut the throat up? The lining of the esophagus is very thick. It's got a very coarse lining to it. And so they'll swallow these things and their natural body will protect them against it. But of course, once it gets to the stomach, which is a much smoother surface, a lot more fragile, it can cause a problem, right? The needle has a sharp end to it. So we remove that with what's called a scope. We use a scoping device. So no real surgery was needed. We didn't make an incision, right? You saw there's no incision made here. We went with a fiber optic cable down the mouth, went to the stomach, found the needle, and pulled it out. And the pets go home the same day. Yes.
I did something over the break. I had an ear infection and they had fixed the camera thing.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt, but it tickled.
Right. So she had an otoscope done. See that? Otoscopic evaluation. The same fiber optic cables they use here, they put in her ear for an ear infection, and you can get a lot more detail that way. Yeah. Yeah. You ready for another case?
Yes.
So.
They're starting to get it now.
Oh.
Go ahead. You get it.
Is there like is there a net or there's like balls?
Point to it. Where do you see it? Go for it. Where do you see it?
Here.
You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a dog. Looks like a dog toy?
Yeah.
Hmm? What kind of dog toy?
Like balls that have holes in them?
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, those
Squeaky.
So we're thinking this is a dog toy that has holes in it, right? And you can put stuff in there, treats or whatever. Okay. All right. Is it possible for a dog to eat that whole? Can they do that?
Maybe it's like a part, like half. It's like one of those squishy balls.
Yes.
Looks like a spider on the right. Maybe it ate a spider.
Right here?
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
It does look like that. Yeah. What is that? What part of the body is that? We learned about it on the previous X-ray. Intestines. The difference is there's no poop in there, huh? You ready to see what we did?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
What is up, everybody? We are doing gastronomy in a pit bull, and this should be pretty interesting what we find in here.
Sorry, so loud.
Should be quite entertaining. Let's take a look. Look at this. Look at that! Look at that, huh? All those toys that hides gets treats in, and inside eat the whole thing. There you have it. True Care for Pets, Studio City, Los Angeles. Take care.
Sorry, it's so loud. So you guys are right. So now, so some of you commented that you can't see the dog, right? Where's the dog here? So the dog's on his back, right? And we cover him with these drapes. They're sterile drapes. You want to minimize infection during surgery, right? And of course, you're doing stomach surgery. You saw how gross that was. You don't want that infection to get the patient sick. So you've got to be as sterile as possible. So we cover the whole patient with sterile drapes. We only open as much as we need for the belly to get access to the stomach to remove this object, right? You're trying to do more benefit to the pet than harm. Yes. How do you open the pet? Yeah. So you use a very tiny, sharp blade. The blade is one-time use. Yeah. You want it to be super sharp and you want it to be sterile, right? So you use a blade. And then after that, we close them up and they heal. They heal very well. If you ever have, how many people have ever cut themselves, cut their skin from a wound?
Everyone.
Have you all healed?
Yes.
Yeah, the skin is remarkable. They'll heal very well, even with major surgery. So his head's over here. He can't see it off screen. His tail's down here. And all I'm working with is his belly. Yes. So you see how with the cat we did a scope, right? So great question. The scope devices are fantastic, but they only can be used for certain foreign objects they eat. If the object is too big, the graspers on the scope can't grab it. And so unfortunately you have to perform surgery. But the outcome of surgery, these are pet owners that are very diligent. Right? They're watching their dog. They saw the dog do this. They came in right away. And so the outcome of surgery is much better if you can get your pet to a veterinary hospital right away when you see it happen. Yeah. Great questions, guys. You want something cool? Yes, question.
When the owners, when they get there, how long do you usually have to wait until they get operated?
Oh yeah, so when a pet comes for a hospital, right, on an emergency basis or during the daytime, the question is how long do they have to wait before surgery happens? Depends on the case. Some pets need surgery right away, like within the hour. Some pets, they need to feel better first before going under anesthesia and surgery. So we might do it the next day. So we check for blood work. If they're older pets or they're sick pets, we want to make sure they're okay for anesthesia and surgery. We do our x-rays, or we'll do CAT scan or MRI or ultrasound, right, to see what's wrong with them. And then from there, figure it out. And then we either use medications or surgery or a combination of things to make them feel better. Yeah. What part of the body is this, guys?
Face.
Yeah, we got a skull here for a dog, right? The dog is doing fine. This is just a CAT scan. 3-dimensional CAT scan. See that? Isn't that wild? So I can reconstruct the skull and move it around in 3 dimensions. There's his feet.
And he was asleep for this. That's what the tube, Tom, the
Yep.
tube is. Yeah.
This is a tube we use for intubation. It's called an endotracheal tube. And so gas anesthesia goes through there with oxygen to allow them to sleep. What do you see there?
The tooth.
So you see teeth, right? Right? This is the jaw.
That looks like a paw.
What's this?
Uncut.
What's that?
An empty bowl.
An empty hole? Close. Close.
Oh, there's a stick.
Yes?
There's a stick in his mouth.
Close.
That's the tube.
This is the tube.
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh.
It's a cut gum. Very close. He broke his jaw.
Oh, you poor thing.
Right? So right there. So look at that area. Luckily, we did surgery and we fixed the jaw. We put a tiny plate with screws. Yeah, see, dogs have cavities a lot. That's why you gotta brush your teeth. You gotta floss. You don't want to lose your teeth. They're very important. Dogs don't take care of their teeth the way we do. They have to have anesthesia to have their teeth cleaned. So it happens maybe once or twice a year, unfortunately. So a lot of pets do lose their teeth. Yeah. Look at that. See that line there? See that? That's the break in the bone right there.
Where is your vet?
Right at the end. What's that?
Where's the vet?
And here?
Yeah.
It's filming.
I know, but like,
It's
where
me
is
filming.
it? What if I want to bring my dog if it gets like sick?
Yeah. So we have information, I think.
So we're at 12:30, so we should, or 11:30.
Okay.
Are we close to?
Yeah,
I
wrap
would-
it up.
If they have questions or anything, I'll
Yes.
just give them a second.
There's our address. We'll give you the information. There's all my social media information there. I want to thank you guys for having us here. This is fantastic. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Have you ever had an animal die like this?
Yeah, unfortunately, pets do die. They get very sick.
Do you have a dog or cat?
They get very sick. I don't have any pets myself because I'm always working. So I don't want to keep them home all day. Yeah. Yes.
Have you ever got like bitten or?
I got bit twice by a dog. Not bad though. Not bad. I call them warning bites. He just told me, oh, I don't like that. But safety is a huge thing. So all of our staff is trained how to deal with pets that don't really want to be there. Yes.
Like, what's the most amount of pets you like cured or helped in like a day?
In one day, 30? 30? Yeah. We can see about 40,000 dogs and cats a year at a busy hospital, 24-hour hospital. Yes? Dogs. We see a lot more dogs, and most pet owners in the United States are dogs, and second are cats.
It's the most exotic animal that's come.
Oh, we've had deer, monkeys,
What?
peacocks.
Mhm.
I actually was, I did not know this, but I was actually bit once by a water eel
Jeez.
because I didn't know that they had teeth. And they do have a lot of teeth. But yeah, we had somebody bring in their 2 eels and he thought that they were, he came running in and he said, "Are they alive? Are they alive?" And I said, "Well, what is it?" He goes, "They're my eels." And I said, "Well, let's go look." And we took them to the back and they're cold water. So they're cold-blooded animals. So when they were in the cold water, they stopped moving. So as soon as they got inside and we took the lid off, the one eel shot straight up and bit me right on the arm. And I said, "Yes, they're okay."
Yes.
I have a dog myself, and we doesn't let anyone brush his teeth.
Mhm.
So how would you?
Yeah, great question. So how do you clean your dog's teeth if they don't want you to? So they actually have special diets that you can try to buy that have big kibbles. So when they bite them, it'll break them into smaller pieces and it's supposed to help brush their teeth that way. There are also chew toys that also have little ridges on them, and so you can put something on there to make them want to chew the toy, and they'll use that. There's also rawhides that they can chew on that have enzymes on them. That enzymes will break down the tartar in their teeth. Yes?
When you're a vet, can you choose what type of animals you want to work with?
Absolutely. So when you go to vet school, they're going to teach you every kind of animal in veterinary school, right? And then over time you decide what animals you want to work with. And so once you graduate, you can pick what you want to work on. So I chose to do dogs and cats with occasionally some pocket pets. There are some folks out there that just do horses. Some veterinarians just do cows or just do pigs, just do chickens, llamas. So you can choose what you want. Yes?
Have you done any on exotic animals?
Yeah, so one time, let me think. One time we worked on any exotic animals before. One time we had a snake, and the snake was huge and needed a C-section. She was pregnant. So we worked on it with this snake before, yeah. I've had also chinchillas and sugar gliders.
Oh my God, spiders.
Yeah, they look like squirrels. They look like squirrels. Yeah.
Spiders hate you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Have you ever had a raccoon?
No, I have not. Although we had a baby raccoon come by in San Jose that somebody found. But there's wildlife rehabilitation centers. I'll take care of these pets. Yeah, skunks included. Yes. Last question.
Have you took care of a skunk?
Oh, Jesus.
I personally have not. No, thank goodness. No. But the wildlife rehabilitation centers probably take care of those as well. Thank you guys for having us here. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Thank you.
We're gonna hand these out, so if you guys just want to land up here, we'll hand these out. You guys have another thing coming over? They're for you guys. Lunch bags, right? Thank you. You guys do that here? I can fill that out. You guys are awesome. Great questions. I love your thinking minds. Keep thinking. Keep asking questions. Very important.
Right. Thank you.
Get to the back, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.